Hello, good evening. This is Dr. Raj, better known as well. My full name is Raj Ramnanan, better known as Dr. Raj. So I'm here to let's talk sex on 103.1 FM. And for those of you who've gotten my broadcast, who received my broadcast this evening, you would know that the topic is opinion and facts. And why I chose this topic, it's a very important topic. We all have opinion about things. We will hear something, we will form our own opinion. We'll read something, we'll form our own opinion. We'll see something on television and we'll form our own opinion. When it comes to facts, there's a lot of false information out there. And the reason there's false information out there is because there's no set way or rules or even a system to teach people about sex or things of a sexual nature. And that's something I've been challenged with for the last 30 years, trying to find a way to get that information out there so that individuals will understand that it's not just about intercourse, it's not just about two persons getting together, falling in love, getting married, having sex, or having difficulties with sex and seeking treatment for it or anything like that. It is sex education. Now, what is really sex education? Is it just about intercourse or is it about life? Is it about interaction, relationship, parenting? All that forms part of sex education, but we may not look at it that way. We'll say, well, sex is for the bedroom. But if you limit sex for the bedroom, you'll understand or you'll realize that you're limiting your mind. And when you realize that your brain is the largest sex organ that we possess, together with the feelings that we have, which is our libido, our sex drive, and other factors, attraction to someone, wanting to get certain amount of satisfaction. When we look at all these things, you'll realize that it is not just one item or one thing to focus on. There's a myriad of different things out there that you have to pool and bring together. You have to use your intelligence to decipher things sometimes. But because it is sex education, we tend to shun away from it. We are afraid sometimes to deal with the issue of sex simply because of that word sex. And you equate sex with intercourse and we leave it at that. We think that that is all it is. It is two persons getting together to engage in sexual intercourse and it's taboo, so we shouldn't discuss it. I have had persons call me after many years of listening to me on the air to ask my opinion about things, to tell me of a situation that they're facing for years. They may be afraid or ashamed to mention it until they build up the courage. And I understand that fully well because I know what it is like when you're dealing with people out there, when you're dealing with individuals, for them to get that courage to ask a question. So that's why I do radio programs and I do interviews and whatnot. And even persons who text me, send me message via my WhatsApp, 7401961. But of course, those of you who are listening tonight, you can send your WhatsApp messages to 2994103. That number again is 2994103. For those of you who have my WhatsApp number, you know it's 7401961 and I respond to all WhatsApp messages. If I don't respond immediately on the program, I will respond to it afterwards. So persons will call me and they will ask me questions about themselves, or as they like to put it, a friend of mine. I don't mind how you ask the question. What I like is that you ask the question and you want information to solve your problem, because that's what it is about. When you ask a question, you want an honest answer, a factual answer. Now, factual answers are not opinions. I cannot draw or I cannot give a person an opinion about something. When they give me the information about themselves, I will give you a factual answer based on what you have told me. Now, of course, persons don't tell you everything up front. There's always some things that they hold back because they are afraid to tell you everything. They may be ashamed to tell you everything, and especially when it comes to things of a sexual nature, a lot of anxiety comes in when the person is talking about it. There's this whole thing about what would he think about me. I wonder if he'll tell anybody else. How secretive is it? Is it confidential? Can I be sure that he wouldn't watch me and laugh or think about it and laugh? And that's another thing, If you're faced with a situation with your partner and you tell your partner about it, and your partner laughs at you, what that does to you psychologically. It's like a woman looking at a man after he undresses and laughs. He don't know if she's laughing at his stomach, his chest, and he thinks it's his penis. So psychologically, he's destroyed. The very same thing when a person, your partner, tells you something and the other person laughs at you or they laugh out. They may not be laughing at you, but they laugh out because they themselves don't know how to deal with it. And that's where the problem comes in. If you don't know the facts about certain things, you laugh at it because some people, they give you a nervous laughter. They laugh at things when they can't answer you or they don't understand what it is. So some people, that's how they show their intelligence about the issue. That's how they show their ignorance about the issue, by laughing. And when you decipher the laughter, you tell yourself, this person is laughing at me. He or she should not be laughing at me. They should try to understand, but that's the only way they can cope with whatever you're telling them. So once you understand these things, you'll realize that you have to seek out the truth. And the truth is out there. The truth is out there. When I decided to study sex, it was at a very young age. I was 11 years, 4 months old when I decided to study sex. And people ask me the question, you were perverted? That's the first thing they think, you were perverted. It's not that I wanted to engage in sex so much so as I wanted to learn about it. Because I realized that when you ask the guys on the block, because that's the only place you got your education on sex, when you ask them certain questions, you'll realize that they give you an opinion, or they give you an answer that is not rooted in the truth. So if the answer is not rooted in the truth, what are they telling you? They are telling you something based on their opinion of the question that you're asking. Lots of time people, they come to a foregone conclusion about things. They tell themselves that they know everything about a particular topic, and I make it very clear to everyone, I do not know everything about sex. It's a learning procedure as you go along in life. You'll realize that there are lots of things that you need to look at, that you need to come into to gather that information and decipher it and apply it how you want to apply it to yourself and to others. So yes, it could be very tempting to come up with your own opinion and say, well, that is it. But you know, we are a society that is very opinionated about things, especially when we are ignorant of certain things. If we are ignorant of things, we come up with our own answers in our head. We conjure up an image of it. We think that whatever we are thinking about, that is it. Okay, well, if that is how it is, then what happens out there with the information or with the questions you may have? What happens is that you start getting false information. When you get false information, you are working with something that is not real. So if you get false information about something, for example, STDs and STIs, I remember, and I'm sure most of the older folks will recall this. Long ago, there was something called VD, run-ins. And when guys got that from having intercourse with someone, maybe a prostitute or something, they would tell their partners a bunch of lies. One of the common lies that I remember being told at that time was I was sitting on a hot galvanize. And that's why I got this. And these are the things that people actually say, you know. So you have to be careful. Now, in ignorance, sometimes the wife may not know about it. May not know the reality of it. And they accept your answer, or you are hoping that they accept your answer until they find out the truth. And when they find out the truth, you are in serious problems. But some of them don't know the truth. And they will go and tell someone else that answer, that very same answer that you gave them. And it becomes the norm for people to say that. It's like masturbation. When somebody say, if you masturbate excessively, you're going to go blind. There's no truth to that. Absolutely no truth to it. There is no correlation between the optical nerve and your masturbatory habits. There is no correlation with that. So you have to be very careful about these things. I see someone send a question here, and I can't read all of it. It's sad about what happened to the guy that died in consuming male enhancement pill and drinking energy drink. But had he been listening to your program, he may be alive today. And that's true. I have always been talking about that. Male energy drinks are not good for consumption. It's loaded with caffeine. It's loaded with other substances that causes your heart to race. Taking male enhancement pill is not something I advise to individuals, and the reason for that is that you can take something that can cause serious harm to your body. And what it does, some of the male enhancement product and Trinidad is a dumping ground for male enhancement product. As everything else, when you can't sell a product outside, it's dumped in Trinidad. And maybe other third world countries, but I know for Trinidad for a fact. There were products that were banned in the United States, and it was being sold in Trinidad on the shelves. One of it was a weight loss product. For years, it was being sold on the shelves. Nobody will pull it off the shelf because it's just there. Nobody's going to complain about it, even though the product was considered to be dangerous to your health worldwide, and especially in the United States with the FDA and whatnot, and it was pulled off the shelves there. Now, think about it. You're pulling thousands of products off the shelf, even millions of products off the shelf, and it's sitting in a warehouse with an expiry date of, let's say, 5 years from now. What are you going to do? You want to sell it. Now, the FDA don't tell you to destroy it, unless they move in and take all the goods and they destroy it. So you have it in a warehouse, you have some in production, and you say, what am I going to do? I know somebody in Trinidad. I'm going to call them up and sell them this product cheap. The person buys the product and they bring it into Trinidad and they put it on the shelf. A lot of male enhancement products are being dumped in Trinidad. As a matter of fact, per capita, we have the most amount of male enhancement product in the world for 1.3 million people. And there are persons out there who think that they must take a male enhancement product for their sexual tryst. Now, if you're not turned on by a person, if the person doesn't have what it takes to bring it out in you for you to have intercourse with them, it's not going to happen. So why go and take a pill to have sex with them? Maybe you want to prove a point, and some women want to prove a point by doing that. But why do something that is going to be harmful to you, can even cause death? Like, we have had a number of situations where persons have taken male enhancement product together with prescribed drugs, and that's another thing. There are prescribed drugs that you can get over the counter. Whether the person brings it in from a third world country, another country that is manufacturing, or the real product, there are lots of product that you can get in the pharmacy, so you have to be very careful. So getting back to what we talk about, opinion and facts. Your friend at work will tell you, boy, last night I used this pill, and this is the normal chat that you will get. Last night I used this pill, boy, and I put on work whole night. Now, when you hear that, it does something to you. You're telling yourself, well, if he could do it, I want to do it too. But remember, no two individuals are the same. You are not like him. He's not like you. You don't have health issues like him or non-issues like him. You don't know. You don't know what product exactly he took and the dosage he took. But he's going to tell you, I have used XYZ product, and boy, is the best thing. Now, he will tell you also, I could get it for you, you know. Now, he may be paying 10 cents for the product and selling it to you for $10. You don't know. Because if he realized that he could make money on your head, and while making money on your head, he could buy another product for himself, why not? You're paying for his product. And that's the trick that goes on out there. Anytime you hear a partner tell you they could get you a pill and give them the money to go and get it for them, they're paying half the price for whatever they're charging you. They're always buying one for themselves. And they'll never tell you where they get it. Boy, this is a secret pill. My partner bring that down from the main, boy. That's what they just use up there. And they tell you all kind of BS stories. And I'll give you a very good story. and this is a true thing. Many, many years ago, I mean, I was a teenager. I think I was over 14, 15 years of age. We heard of this thing called Spanish fly, but nobody knew what Spanish fly was all about. And this is serious. It might sound funny, but it's very serious. But nobody knew what Spanish fly was about. So this friend of mine at high school told me, said, I could get some Spanish fly. I have an uncle coming from the States, and he could bring down some Spanish fly for me. And it's the best thing, boy. You put that in a girl drink, and any amount of sex you want, you get in it. Now, as a young man, you hearing that, you're curious. And I was very curious to learn about anything about sex. So, person got the product, came to me, and said, I have it here, boy. And he has it wrapped up. I don't know if you all remember this, but long ago they used to wrap medicine in paper, white paper. They will fold it 2 times, and then they'll take one end and stuff it in the other end, and it comes out in a nice little envelope. Small little envelope. So it came like that. I said, wow, this man will get a real thing, boy. When he drugstore, they will do things like that. When he opened it up, you know what was inside that package? 2 flies. 2 flies. House flies. But large house flies. So I was like, but this is real flies. He said, yeah, this is Spanish flies from Mexico. I said, wait. Flies are not clean. I'm telling the guy this. I say, flies are not clean. How could you give a girl this to drink? He said, well, that's what they just do in Mexico. They just grind it up and put it in a drink. And the person will drink it. Needless to say, the guy tried it. But in his enthusiasm to try it, he poured the contents in beer. Now, you know beer does have froth. When you drop something in froth, it floats. He got caught and he was in a lot of trouble. But that's someone's opinion about a product. That is not what they think it is. The name is Spanish fly, but it's not an actual fly. And this is where we get tied up at times. We think that something is exactly the literal meaning to it, but it's not. So you have made an opinion about something, but you don't know the facts. If you do the research and you find out what exactly is Spanish fly, it's a chemical. It's a chemical that is mixed into drinks and whatnot to get somebody to feel amorous, to make them want to have sex, but they may not want to have sex with you. It's not something that you use for raping or forcing a person to have sex. It is something that you use to stimulate the person. It's like an aphrodisiac. But let's say a person is stimulated to have sex, to want to have sex. And you in front of that person, but the person is thinking about their boyfriend at home or their husband at home. You think they were going to have sex with you? No. And this is where we get tied up with information and things. We always think that whatever we're doing is going to benefit us, when the truth of the matter is not going to benefit us. It's going to benefit someone else. It's like taking a person out, be it a young lady or a man, having a few drinks. Yes, let's take that call. Hello? Hello? Okay. Having a few drinks, the person gets tipsy, as we say in Trinidad, or intoxicated to a point, and you think that the person is going to want to have sex with you. But the person may not be thinking about you, about having sex. They may be thinking about someone else. So, how are you going to correlate that with you? And how are you going to make sure that the person does it with you? No, there are drugs that people use for that, and you have to be very careful. That's why I tell young ladies, if you go to a club, if you go somewhere to hang out, you have to make sure you get your drink yourself, or you see the bartender pouring the drink, and sometimes the bartenders is in cahoots with the guy. So you have to be very careful with taking a drink from someone, because persons can try to drug you. And these are factual things. If you read, if you go and listen to things that are happening out there, the news and whatnot, you'll realize that these things are the truth. It actually happens. So you have to protect yourself, and protect yourself to the best of your ability. So the only way you can do that for all the young ladies who go out to clubs and whatnot is to make sure you don't get so drunk that somebody could slip something into your drink. And if a person offers you a drink, you go to the bar yourself, you tell them what you want, and you see them pour it. Then make sure they don't pour it on the counter. It's poured in front of you. And these are the things that you need to do to protect yourself. And men also. There may be somebody who wants to do something to you. There are so many criminal acts happening out there now. So many things of a criminal nature. You have to protect yourself at all times. So you make sure that the things that you're doing is done in such a way that you are protected. Think about it. So getting back to STDs and STIs now when it comes to sex. Half the things that you hear or things that you read may not be factual. Even things that you see on some newspaper. Not all newspaper are factual. There are tabloid newspaper that carries news stories that are not real. So you got to know the facts as opposed to what is untrue or not real. So there are many things out there that are not real that we come into contact with, that we see from time to time, and we tell ourselves this is what it is, this is the reality of what it is, but it is not so. What do? You seek the information, just as I have done over the years. You seek out getting the correct information. If you don't believe me about all the junk that they're selling here as sexual enhancement pill, do the research. Find out. Go to the FDA listing and see the items that are banned, that are still being sold in Trinidad. And that will give you a good idea. That is one way you could do it. You could go to European Union, or you could go to their medical website and check those things out. You can check out there are so many things that are being sold in Trinidad that comes from India, for example, and China. You research it and find out exactly what are in these products. But we don't take time to do that. If you have a sexual encounter, or you're going to have a sexual encounter, you always want that boost. That's why at the Adult Therapy Center, the products that we use there are tried and tested and approved. That's one of the things that we make sure. For example, the very famous EE. That's what it's called, EE. It's something that was invented for sexual dysfunction that we carry, and I've been using it for, I think, 17 years now. We've been using it at the Adult Therapy Center for treatment. But it's not something to abuse. It's like, there's nothing wrong in taking a drink if you can handle one drink and stop. If you can have a glass of wine or maybe a shot of alcohol and you're good with that, it's all well and good. There's nothing wrong with that. It's the persons who, after they have one, they must have two, they must have three, and then they must have one bottle. That's where the problem lies. If you don't know how to control yourself, you are going to end up in lots of problems. So what you need to do is understand. You can understand things from a different perspective if you know the facts, not just the opinion. Now, you have to be careful about Googling also. Yes, you could Google anything you want now, but are you getting the correct information? And that's another thing. Lots of times when we Google something, we do not have the intelligence to decipher which is right and what is wrong. I'll give you a simple thing. Right now on Facebook, there's a rumor, a false news going around about Hugh Hefner. And I've had persons ask me about that up to yesterday, or ask me about what it is this Hugh Hefner was using. Because they say when they do an autopsy on Hugh Hefner, they found out that he was using this product. But that cannot be true. Because that product, if you're using it, whatever they're talking about, it dissipates in the system as soon as you use it. So there's no way an autopsy is going to show that. But again, if you don't have the intelligence to know that, you don't know. There is no way an autopsy is going to show let me put it, a gas in your system. There's no way. That's why there are certain poisons that you can use on an individual to kill them, and no autopsy is going to pick that up here. It's not going to pick it up. The chemist out there knows that. The pharmacist out there knows that. Those who are intelligent enough to know about things will know that this product that is being advertised is not real. But I've had so many persons call me about this thing. I'm like, you all believing in false news? This is not real. Yes, but it's on Facebook. Facebook is not real. Where you get your answer is also very important. Where you get your facts is very important. So yes, you can Google anything, but the amount of false information it has, and I'll give you, let me give you the perfect example. Have you ever seen anything from me in Google? For example, treatment of erectile dysfunction, premature ejaculation, polycystic ovaries. I had a young lady yesterday tell me that there's no cure for polycystic ovaries. I said, and we've been curing it for years. I say, that's what we do at the Adult Therapy Center. Another person might say there's no cure for something to do with the vagina, sexually. And I'm like, true? So how come we've been doing that for years? So, despite the fact that you will get an opinion from someone, it may not be the truth. So you have to be very careful where you get your information. The kind of information that is being bandied about may not be the truth. So what do? You have to take the facts, or you have to be intelligent enough to take the information that you've seen out there and embrace what is factual. Many a times we don't know how to embrace what is factual because we don't know how to decipher the truth. Long ago when we did research, it wasn't through Google, you know. It was something called a library. And there was something called books. And you had to go and read these books and take information from these books and write down the bibliography, because you cannot just write something and say the sky is blue, you know. You have to say exactly where you got that, how you got it, what research you did to say that the sky is blue, you know. And that's what education is all about. It is not just taking any bit of information and putting it out there and saying, well, this is what it is. It may not be what you think it is. It may be much more than you think it is. So, the facts are always what you embrace. Facts are always what you seek out before you embrace it. But how do you know what the facts are? And this is where your ability to decipher things, the level of intelligence that you have, the persons that you refer to when it comes to information, especially sexual information. There are lots of persons out there who claim to know things of a sexual nature and they knows nothing about it. Because they may regurgitate something that they've heard, but they cannot give you facts about the particular topic or branch off into another related topic. And that's how you know when a person don't know things. If they cannot branch off into a related topic, what happens? When they cannot branch out into a related topic, it means to say that they're just stagnated with their information. That's all they know, whatever they're hearing exactly at this moment, and that's all they can regurgitate. It's like feeding them something and they're spitting it back out. Regurgitation. It is not feeding them something, they digest it and they come up with their own opinion or their own facts. And this is where intelligence comes in. So, sexual information, there's too much false information out there about things that you need to know on a day-to-day basis about your body, about yourself, about your behavior, about your likes and dislikes, about the things that are going to make you a better person to your partner, how you interact with he or she, the things that happens in your relationship to make you feel that, yes, this is exactly the way it should be. That I am really doing what I want to do. And what I am doing is going to strengthen my relationship, strengthen my resolve, make me be more accessible to the person, make me love the person more, or the person love me more, appreciate me more. Because once somebody is telling you the things that you like to hear, or the things that they appreciate, they're going to like you. Their opinion about you and the way they feel about you is going to strengthen, it's going to grow. And that's what you need to do. Do all the things that are going to make you a stronger, better person. Don't deal with movilang and false information, because all you're going to do is cause confusion for yourself and others around you. So you have to be careful about that. Let's see, we have some questions. We have some persons viewing and listening to us on Facebook. Wow, we have a good audience. And for those of you who want to ask a question, remember it's 299-4102. Oh, 4103, sorry. 299-4103. And for those of you who want to send me a question directly on my cell phone, it's 740-1961, 740-1961. You can ask your questions now. You can interact with us here. Don't wait for the last minute. Don't wait for 20 minutes after the hour and the program ends at 8:30. Don't wait for that. If you do, you may not get the answers to your question. I'm sure there's some things that you need to know about yourself, about your partner, about your relationship, about things of a sexual nature. I mean, I've been on this radio station since the end of January, and we've been giving out information freely. We've been working. I can. Is it important? You want to send it? How about if you send it here? Yeah, do that. My operator is trying to get some information across what the device he's using. Send it to my phone if you want to. It'll be easier. So for those of you if you have sent something and you're not getting the answer, send it directly to my phone, 740-1961. So in that way, I'll be able to read it on air. I wouldn't call your name, so don't be worried about that. Somebody said, thank God for that, because I was going blind. I guess it has to do with the masturbation. If you do not advise male enhancement pill, what can be used to solve sexual dysfunction? That's what we do at the Adult Therapy Center. We treat the root cause of sexual dysfunction. A pill is not a cure. A pill is a mask. Using an enhancement pill is only putting a plaster over a cut, a serious cut. So if you get a chop, you don't go put a plaster over it. You got to go to the emergency room and have surgery done or have stitches given or something like that. So if you take in a male enhancement pill to have sex with your partner, for example, you realize you have erectile dysfunction or premature ejaculation or sexual dysfunction, taking a pill alone will not help you, because you're not going to solve your problem. What you need to do is get to the root cause of your problem, which we do at the Adult Therapy Center. Because at the Adult Therapy Center, we work in conjunction with labs, with medical doctors, psychologists and psychiatrists, hypnotists. We work with different people to find the root cause of your problem and solve your problem. That's what we do. Therefore, if we are working with persons to find the root cause of your problem and solve your problem, that's what you need to do. But the number one issue there is how much it will cost. But let's put it this way. Whatever amounts of money that you spend on sexual enhancement pills, multiply that by hundreds, if not thousands, to find a solution for your problem. Because the damage that it's going to do to you and your body, you will need to spend time and money to solve your problem. Because all it does is mask your problem. It doesn't solve anything. So you're going to end up in serious problem. Hello, good night. Keep up the good work as always. Thank you very much. Dr. Raj, when I have sex in the morning, I see blurry when reading. Well, you need something for your eyesight. That's all. That's all. You may need to take something like Ocuvite for your eyesight, something that will help you with your eyesight. Why can't there be a ban on those expired drugs that comes in the country? Can there be a bill passed for something like that? Oh, there are bills passed for that and all those things, but we have a lot of suitcase traders in this country now. There are lots of suitcase traders in this country. And there are people who bring in things illegally. If you can have guns, drugs, ammunition coming into this country, why it is to smuggle pills? Just as much as you have cocaine passing through this country by the tons to go elsewhere. Just as how you have a route going out, you have a route coming in. Always remember that. So anything that there's a market for, you don't have to bring it the legitimate way. There are persons who bring things through the very same way you smuggle people into the country. There are people who are bringing things for trade. Because in these countries, for example, Mexico and throughout Latin America, they manufacture these drugs or these false items for sexual enhancement by the thousands, by the millions. And if somebody finds out in Trinidad, people in Trinidad like sex pills, I'm going to bring something back SEX on it. It may not be a sex pill, you know, but they're going to make money. And if I could sell you 1,000 pill at $10,000, I make $10,000 easy, right? And it may cost them 500 pesos. They make money on your head and they don't care if it work or don't work. You have seen them again. And they may sell that to one store. That's how it works. And that's the reality of it. Any custom officer will tell you that. Anybody in law enforcement will tell you that. Anyone who studies Trinidad and Tobago will tell you that. There are things that happens in this country that there is no control over. It just happens. So, when it's happening, it's happening. And once there's a market for anything, okay, let's forget drugs and all those things. Car parts, inferior car parts. There's a big market in Trinidad for that. We have car parts that are genuine and car parts that are imitation. And there are places that are known for selling imitation car parts. And don't we go there to buy parts? They thrive. They'll tell you, here what? It is just like the original. Nothing could be just like the original. If you need to put an original part in your vehicle, you need to put an original part in your vehicle. But there are persons who go and buy substandard parts and put it in their vehicle and they pray that it works. But it does not work. After a while, it's going to cause damage to other parts of the vehicle. So it's the same thing with drugs. It's the same thing with male enhancement pill. It's the very same thing that happens. And we think that we're doing the right thing, but we're not doing the right thing. We are not. We pay the price for it when something happens. But just remember, we are not doing the right thing. So, we have a market for it. So if there's a market for a person to put inferior stuff in their vehicle, there's a market to do anything else. Good night, doctor. How does someone increase their sperm count? You come to the Adult Therapy Center for that. And we'll teach you how to increase your sperm count. There's some information I will not give on the air here, simply because it's my profession. And it's what you have to do. It's not something, okay. The person who is asking that may think that it's a one-off, or they want a one-off answer, you know. But let's dissect that question that was asked. Why do you have a low sperm count? And if the reason you have a low sperm count is you have an injury to your testicle, don't you think that you'll need to go to a medical doctor first? So when you come to the Adult Therapy Center, and you answer the questions correctly, what happens next? The next thing that happens is that I will recommend to you what you should do. So let's say you have a low sperm count because of the type of work you do. What's the treatment for that? It's a different treatment. You have a low sperm count because of something that happened to you medically. There's another treatment for that. You have a low sperm count because it's hereditary. There's a treatment for that. Or you have a low sperm count that cannot be raised. There's no treatment for that. So a consultation will determine why you have a low sperm count, the reasons behind it, the truth behind it, and then I give you a factual answer. When you get the factual answer, you have to decide whether you want to do it or not. You have to decide on your course of action. I'll tell you something that happened to me many, many years ago. There's this beautiful young lady who I knew since she was a baby. Her father and I are friends. A few years into my practice, she got married and she came with her husband. And she told me, well, she calls me uncle. She says, Uncle, so and so is the case. I cannot get pregnant. Something wrong with me. I say that's the first thing men like women to feel. That something is wrong with them. And that's another opinion men have. A lot of men have that opinion. If a woman can't have a child, it's the woman's fault. I say, hey, what? I'll send you to do a test, but I want your husband to do a test. He was there. You know what he said to me? I don't need to test nothing, I good. I say, Brad, if you care about your wife, you will be tested also. So, the young lady went and did her ultrasound and whatnot, and whatever other tests that she had to do. The young man went and did his tests, blood tests and whatnot, and they came back with the results. And when I opened the results, I looked at her and I said, you have no problem. After reading through everything and whatnot. When I opened the guy's result, he had no sperm. No sperm seen. None. You cannot get someone pregnant if you have no sperm. That's impossible. So I told the guy, I said, tell me about your lifestyle and growing up, things that has happened to you. So he told me about whatever he knew about himself. And I kind of realized what went wrong with him. So I said, I want you to go back and ask your mother and father, if they're both alive, what happened to you at this age? And write it down, get all the facts about it, and come back. He says, so you're telling me I have no sperm, I can't get you pregnant? I say, I'm telling you, you have no sperm based on the results I have in front of me. It's not an opinion that I have the facts in front of me. I will keep a copy, you get the original to keep. You can take it to any doctor you want, you can take it to any professional, and they will tell you the very same thing, no sperm seen. None. Came back a week after, his wife and him told me what happened. I said, well, this is the reason why you have no sperm. He said, but nobody never tell me that. I said, well, nobody never told you that because maybe they didn't know. He said, but my doctor would have known. I said, well, maybe your doctor knew or did not know, and maybe they didn't want to share that information with you, or the information was not shared with you. I am sharing with you now. He said, so what I could do to get my wife pregnant? I said, you have two options. A surrogate father, meaning you get a sperm donation from either your father or your brother, or somebody close to you, a good friend or whatever, if you want that. And she will get pregnant, she'll bring forth a child into the world, but you will have to mind the child, but it will not be yours. Biologically. You could be the father of the child, but biologically you will not. He pondered on it, they went away. Few years passed and I saw them with a child. They didn't come back. So I asked him, I said, so what happened? He said, well, he took my advice and he got a donation of sperm from a very close relative, which I assume was his brother, and that's how she got pregnant. Now, some person will say, why didn't he do it the conventional way for her to get pregnant? Maybe you don't want to share that with the person, but there's a way you could do it in a lab. There are doctors who can do that. So there are things that you can do, but the fact of the matter is that he was never presented with the facts. He did not know what to do. So he always thought it was the woman's fault. It was his wife's fault. She couldn't have a child. But the fact remained that she couldn't have a child with him, but she could have a child. And that's where you have to be very careful about the information that you get and what you do with that information. So that's why I keep telling persons, you need to have all the information. You need to give me all the information for me to arrive at a correct treatment for you. The treatment may not be by my clinic. It may be outside of my clinic, outside my remit. It may be another professional who has to treat you. Sometimes you have to be treated by a person and then come back to the clinic to work on other things. But whatever it may be, if you're interested in taking care of your health, your life, things about yourself, well then, you have to do what is right. You must do what is right. If you don't do what is right, you're going to end up in serious problems. Factual information, getting the facts right, making sure you get the facts, making sure you get correct information is always important. So for those of you who want any information on anything, 740-1961, I have some greetings and whatnot coming my way. It's not questions, so wonderful job. I appreciate the information that you're giving. I like hearing you on radio. Well, thank you very much for that. I will not call your name because I know some of you will not want me to call your name. For those of you who keep on sending me text messages because of the WhatsApp that you have gotten, for those of you who send me messages for the first time, I will save you. So you will get a broadcast sometime. It's like over the weekend I visited someone in a far off place and I showed the person my card, and when the person looked at the card, she says, well, wait a minute, I just be getting a lot of broadcasts and things from this number. I say, well, it would be because you had called me sometime, or somebody who had your phone may have called me and the number was saved. Because she told me, she said, well, I never called you because I didn't know who you were. So, does smoking affect a man's sperm count? Of course it does. Chemicals like alcohol, smoking, exposure to chemicals, petroleum, gasoline, chemicals from a chemical plant, all these things will affect your sperm count. But smoking definitely will affect your sperm count because there's so many different chemicals in cigarettes. The chemical composition of alcohol is poisonous to your system. So all these things can happen to you. It's like, you know, some persons, they hear about treatment and the first thing they say, well, it wouldn't cause me, give me cancer, right? Or they read something. There was a famous actor who once said that he got throat cancer through performing oral sex. Oral sex don't give you throat cancer unless the person who you're having oral sex with is infected. That's something you have to take into consideration. So he did not get oral sex because of, he did not get cancer because of oral sex. The cancer came about because of performing oral sex on someone who was infected. So these are things that people hear and they will ask my opinion about it and I will give them the facts. And then they will come to the realization that, hey, if this is the fact, I have to be careful with what I read and how I draw my opinion. I have to be careful with what is said. See, we have some, well, we don't have any messages coming there, but we have some things coming still from on Facebook. And how, if you are a smoker, if you stop, is the damage permanent, or will your count go back up? If the damage has been done to the testicles, it's permanent. If the damage cause a reduction over time and there's a way to rejuvenate the testicles, it's not permanent. You can't just look at someone or the person. No, most of the times when a person comes to you for treatment, they will tell you, I stopped smoking. When you ask them how long I've stopped smoking, how long have you stopped smoking, they will tell you 3 months now. 3 months is not enough time. You haven't stopped yet. You have abstained. You could go back smoking tomorrow or today. So 3 months is not a measurement. 3 years sometimes is not a measurement. There are people who fall off the wagon with alcohol, with cigarettes and other drugs. So you have to be careful about what you say when it comes to those things. But if the damage is reversible, I'll let you know. It's like low testosterone. Sometimes low testosterone in an individual is not reversible. And sometimes it is. If it is reversible, we do that. And we tell you the procedure to do that. Low testosterone, premature ejaculation, erectile dysfunction, sexual dysfunction, women who have painful intercourse, women who don't enjoy sex, unable to have an orgasm, all these things we deal with. Men who cannot ejaculate. So we deal with all these issues in a holistic way by telling you the procedure that you need to follow so you will do the right things. For those of you who need to contact the Adult Therapy Center, you don't make an appointment through me. You call the Adult Therapy Center at 645-4543. That number again, 645-4543. You make an appointment and you come in on the appointed day. For those of you who are in the Debe Penal region, I am usually there on a Tuesday. You call that same 645 number and they will take an appointment for Debe. You just have to let them know which Tuesday you are there, and once it coincides with the day that I am there, I will see you. For those of you who want to see me in Princestown, I'll be in Princestown on the 16th at the new outlet at 54 Nintendo Road in Princestown. Later on in the year, or later on as we go on, maybe in the next 2 to 3 years, we'll have outlets throughout Trinidad and Tobago. That's what I'm planning to do. I will not be at all the outlets. For example, my main clinic is in St. Augustine, so I don't need to be at the outlet in Bamboo number 3 because it's very close. Because it is very close, I don't need to be at Bamboo. But for those of you who want to see me or want to visit, for whatever reason you have a problem you want me to solve, you come to the Adult Therapy Center in St. Augustine. You can go to the clinic in Debe. As a matter of fact, there's somebody manning the lines right now. You can call 645-4543. Make an appointment either to see me in St. Augustine or in Debe. I'm normally in Debe on a Tuesday, and of course I am in St. Augustine on the appointed days. They will tell you at the office. I don't even know the days I'm there. It all depends on appointments. Having said that, I want to thank you all the listeners out there. For those of you who have been following me on 103.1, for those of you who are on Facebook Live, I want to thank 103.1 for having me on 103.1 for the last 3 months. And the reason I'm saying that is that with a sad heart, with a heavy heart, I have to say goodbye or so long to this program as of today. Because of my commitments, and I want to make this very clear, there's no conflict with management and myself. As a matter of fact, I wasn't even coming out to do a program today, but management asked me to make sure I come out and tell the people thanks and to let them know that this is the last program tonight on 103.1. And the reason for that is because of my commitment to other things. I do a lot of traveling. I have all these clinics. I have things that I need to do outside of this. I have another radio program that I do. And because of that, my time is very limited and it's putting a lot of pressure on me. And I like to give a quality program. Sometimes I do the impossible. I will travel to far off places like LA within 2 days. Leave Trinidad today, I'm back in Trinidad tomorrow evening. I will go to Miami in the morning and come back in the evening. That's how I travel. Some of you can't even fathom that. Some of you can't even believe that. And when you do things like that, you get something called jet lag. And when you get jet lag, you can't function. You really cannot function. And I like to function every single day because I love my job. I love being at my clinic. I love seeing my clients. I like helping people. And I like to have a clear mind when I'm doing that. So the only way I can do that is by giving something up. And unfortunately, the last thing that I started was this program. And you know, in accounting, which I'm a trained accountant also, last in, first out. So with a very, very heavy heart and with a lot of sadness, I have to say thank you all for being part of this program, Let's Talk Sex on 103.1. It's not goodbye forever. I'll tell you something. As soon as I can clear up my busy schedule, as soon as I have the time, I will be back on 103.1. But until then, I really have to say goodbye I know we haven't reached the time to finish off the program, so although I've said goodbye now, I just give me that 5 more minutes to finish off the program, because tonight's program was very important also. Always get the facts. And it's a good thing I'm here tonight, because if I didn't come out to work, maybe somebody would say they fired me, or they no longer want Dr. Raj on 103. It's not that. Because everybody will come up with their own opinion. So the fact that I'm here tonight to tell you so long until sometime in the future, that's the truth. So I'm able to do that, and that's factual. For those of you who are friends with me on Facebook, you can still contact me, and you know the usual way you can contact me. For those of you who have been sending me message on my, and that's my personal cell phone number, 7401961 is my personal cell. For those of you who have been sending me messages there, you know I respond. Dr. Raj, I read about something called jelqing. Can you elaborate? Jelqing works only for teenagers. It does not work for adults. I don't know if you're a teenager. The younger you are, the better jelqing works. Jelqing is holding the penis in your hands and pulling towards the front, which is the head. It's not going up and down. It's one way. What you do is you force blood into the tissue, and you cause expansion of the tissues by stretching the tissues out. So that's what jelqing is all about. It is not jockeying, as we say in Trinidad. So just remember that jelqing develops the penis only as a teenager. So for all the young teenagers out there, if you want to develop your penis or you want to enhance your penis, that's one of the things that you can do. Do not take it for masturbation. It is not masturbation. It has nothing to do with why people think that, hear what? I just cannot do a program on a Monday anymore. Nafisha, that thing that you put up there is just false. It has nothing to do with that. That's why I don't like false information. You had no right to put something up like that. I explained totally that I cannot do a program anymore on a Monday. And I'm committed to other things on another radio station doing other programs. And I cannot switch that or throw that aside. And then I have to travel. I do lectures all over the world. So that's just the way it is. So with that, folks, I hope you enjoyed the programs that we did over the past 3 months. I hope you got all the information that you needed. Again, I will continue to reach out to you all, and I hope that you reach out to me for the factual information, especially the 103 listeners, because I know there are lots of listeners out there, and I know that for a fact. I've had persons call me who never listened to me before on other radio stations, but heard me here. So I know the listenership at 103.1 is a fantastic listenership, and I must say kudos to the company for that. You have a really large listenership out there, and I'm very pleased to be part of that, and I always consider myself to be part of the 103.1 family. So with that, folks, allow me to say good night, and thank you very much for having me. Good night.
Continue to be the leader, not only in East Indian radio in Trinidad and Tobago, but we're also ahead of the competition on Facebook with our 95,000 followers, 18,000 YouTube subscribers, and 24,000 Instagram followers. With more users visiting 103fm.tt every month so far, active users on our website have grown by more than 20,000. Follow us or like us today on social media, and be sure to visit our mobile-friendly website, 103fm.tt. Catch up with our live stream, get the latest in news, sport, and entertainment, plus our daily editorials, inspirational messages, podcasts, blogs, and so much more. All available on social media platforms and our
Oh yes, so let's see here.